Mrs. Quinty says I have superabundance of style and must trim back. She was once my English teacher and comes now Tuesdays and Thursdays from the tech after she finishes. I'm on her rounds. I'm her Tuesdays with Ruth and Thursdays. Because of me, Mrs. Quinty will be taking the bypass around purgatory and shooting straight on into heaven. She predicts a brilliant career for me if I will only trim back. I will also need to stay alive. Before she comes upstairs to my room, she has a few words with my mother about my condition. Mrs. Quinty is a small, tight bow. I mean, tight. Everything is to be kept neat and precise. But since the departure of Mr. Quinty, a lorry driver with black curls who left our narrative some time previous, she now fears something secretly loosening in her all the time. To address this, she frequently gives herself a little pull-in, a little sharp tug on her blouse or jacket that goes unremarked in these parts, because people know her circumstances and allow for oddities. If Mr. Quinty had passed on, it would have been better. If he had gone to his reward, Mrs. Quinty would cope. She suited widowhood, and had the wardrobe. But as it was, despite Tommy Quinty being heavily pregnant with 18 years of Victoria sponge, lemon drizzle, apple upside down, rhubarb custard tart, and caramel eclairs, a brazen long-legged hairdresser called Sylvia in Swansea, Wales, managed to overlook the collected cakes and see only the black curls of the same Tommy. He stopped in for a do, Nan says, and he's not done yet. Although everyone in the parish knows this, since Martin Conway took the under-16.5s over to a match, stopped in Swansea for chips and toilets, and saw Tommy in an outrageous quiff, powder blue blazer and white shoes, no one lets on to Mrs. Quinty. As if by secret agreement, it was decided Tommy Quinty would drop out of all conversation. Sometimes he's in a whisper down in Ryan's, or a joke out at the crossroads on the night of a 45 drive when the tarts are served. But for the most part, he has left the narrative. But in doing so, he left Mrs. Quinty a chill. Also migraine attacks, tinnitus, inflammation of the ear, eustachian catarrh, occasional left-sided deafness caused, she will tell you, by retracted membrana tympani, swelling of glands, lacunar tonsillitis, dizziness, disorders of the digestive system, all sorts, and what she herself diagnosed as cheese breath. Mrs. Quinty suffers. Of illnesses, she has whatever is going. Her only hope is to keep the little bow of herself tight and teach on. The teaching keeps her going. When I was her pupil 100 years ago, her classes were notable for being the only ones in which absolute silence reigned. Even though her frame was diminutive and her dress sense very costume drama, everyone knew you don't mess with Mrs. Quinty. She came in and the first thing she did was open the windows. It could be hail and gale outside. Mrs. Quinty opened the windows. Then she took out these little wipes and wiped down the surface of the desk. That lady brought with her her own environment. Still, the tech was the last place you think she should be. The native population of that school was at no point under the control of Mr. Cuddy. Perplexity at managing teenagers had given him a face like the letter Z, and he kept it largely in his office where he pursued more available consolations by solving crossword puzzles. From school life, one example, one Christmas week, the crib was set up in the assembly hall, a life-size alabaster baby Jesus, Mary and Joseph, 2 not life-size camels, 2 lambs, 1 cow, 1 donkey, and 3 very Islamic-looking magi. They were laid out on a bed of genuine hay, used, that Jacinta Deneen brought.